So the selectmen's meeting's not tomorrow.
I'd like to bring this meeting of the school committee to order and ask you all to join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to all join with me in a moment of silence. I would like to tell you a little bit about three members of our educational community who are retired and have recently passed. Joycelyn Belargian worked 23 years in the school system at Nathaniel Morton School, and she retired in 2011. Harold Mansfield was a painter for the school department for quite a long time. Also served in the 390th Bomb Group during World War II. And Marion Crocker, who worked 27 years at Nathaniel Morton and Plymouth Carver Middle School. So in support for their families and in celebration of their life and gratitude for their commitment, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. I'm told that we do have some guests who would like to address the committee, and I think it's David Carmichael and colleague. I didn't get the other name, so please come to the table, identify yourself, and you have the floor.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is David Carmichael. I'm the commander for South Shore Recruiting Company, so that's everything south of Boston, Haven Islands. I'm joined here by Jacob Randolph. He is a recruiter that is responsible for Plymouth, so responsible for both of your schools. So we appreciate the time you take for us tonight. We just wanted to present to you the student ASVAB. It's something that you have done in the past. It looks from our records like it hasn't been done at the school since about 2008. And so what that is offered for students that want to take it, and it's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. So it's a standardized test. It takes about 3 hours. If it was something that you wanted to do for either of your schools, it will be provided, that we provide the proctors, and by us I mean the military. So it's not just for the United States Army, it would be for all of the services. And what that gives the student is feedback on the 8 areas in which they have, the 8 skill areas that we look at as a military. But additionally, and what they've kind of revamped it to do, is you can do that in conjunction with an inventory, which consists of 90 questions based on what you're interested in. And through the Career Exploration Program, which is an online application that you can use once you have these scores. You can go on and you can say, it'll plug in what you have scored well on the ASVAB. You can apply your inventory scores to it, and then it will show you what jobs you may be interested in. So they offer over 1,000 jobs around the website. So for scale, the Army only offers 150 jobs. So it's not just jobs that are in the military. And then not only does it provide that, but if you choose a job, it tells you what kind of education or what kind of jobs you would need to hold in order to achieve that. So currently across the nation, about 45% of the folks that do take the ASVAB plan and actually go to a 4-year college. So it's not a requirement just for folks that are looking to use the military as their future. There are a decent amount of folks that just take it for a reference of what they may be good at. And lastly, I would say, so for the Minuteman Scholarship, which is offered both through the National Guard and the Army Reserve here, that one of the requirements would be an ASVAB score for you to then get that ROTC scholarship to be which would be a program for anyone that's looking to do the officer route and stay in Massachusetts as a reserve or National Guard officer.
So let me ask you for the committee. I think you're suggesting, your opening remarks suggesting that it would be a convenience. This is a question. It would be a convenience that if we offered the test and you folks proctored it and took care of all the details, it's a convenience for our students to have it on site, as opposed to having to go somewhere to take it. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, so currently, so if, so a student that is a junior or senior this year comes into one of our offices, they would have to go up to Boston in order to take the test. So much more convenient for them to come in, take it, again, it takes 3 hours, and then they have that score, and the scores are good for 5 years. And so what we typically do see is folks that will come in a couple years out of high school, and then they have to take the test, and some of that knowledge that you need that requires a basic math and English skills may have deteriorated over that time, and then they're no longer eligible necessarily.
We also see, sorry,
No, go
we
ahead.
also see students traveling from north and south to like Silver Lake High School and other out-of-district areas to take the test currently too. So we just wanted to offer it as an option without them having to, leave school and miss some time and things like that too as well.
Well, now that you just said you had it at Silver Lake High School, my daughter went to Boston for it. My daughter took it when she was a junior, and she had to take a day off from school and go to Boston for it. It was a whole day
It's a long
affair.
process.
I mean, it's like the SATs, but now if we offered it here in Plymouth, could other students take advantage of it and take it here? Like other area students, like other schools?
districts.
Or would it
Absolutely,
only
yes.
be for Plymouth schools,
Yes.
Plymouth students? Because it was, like I said, it was, she had to take an entire day off from school basically to go up to Boston and take it. It wasn't on a weekend, I don't believe.
And
I
there's
mean,
a
it was
lot.
2 years ago, so I don't remember.
Definitely, there's a lot more that goes into it when you go up to Boston as well, as far as like different paperwork that's required and things like that. And it's a more of a high-pressure environment because
Yeah.
they're taken out of their element and placed into a room, with 5 other people they might not know, and, it's timed and everything like that. I've noticed that, like, when we do it at Carver and things, those different schools, it's a very low-stress environment, and it's structured very well, too. They do it section by section, as opposed to, hey, here's a computer, go nuts, So it's a little bit, it's structured a little bit better and really set towards high school students in general, not just everyone.
And they can take it more than once, too, if they don't like
Correct, they
what
can take it
how
every
they
single year.
scored, right?
I always have a concern about time and learning. Could this be done on a weekend?
Yes, so it's something we could proctor on the weekend. I forget what schools are, but I know that in the past, schools have done it on like a Saturday. The only thing that I would say on that would be sometimes you have less buy-in from students if they have to do it on the weekend.
Well, yeah, but if they want to skip math class.
But if it's like, say the juniors take it on the day that we offer the SATs for all the kids, that's mandatory for the seniors, right? Or no, the juniors take it,
Juniors.
you're right. So they'd still want to take
Yeah,
that, never mind.
We've noticed that other schools have done it towards the holiday. So when they've kind of, ramped it down, going into holiday break that first time, like I know Carver does it like the last week before Christmas break, so that way they're kind of already wrapped up with a lot of their studies and things like that too. So there's a lot of different options we can approach, but we can certainly entertain the weekends for sure.
Exams.
And there isn't a cost if they're planning on joining the
None.
military, correct?
We
It's free?
incur all of the cost on everything.
There's no cost for the kids?
No cost to you guys, kids,
Okay.
anything.
Well, technically, you did pay for it with your taxes.
Yeah, we hear that a
Any other
lot.
questions for these two gentlemen? Hey, thank you very much for coming
you.
in.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And at the beginning of the new school year, we're eager to hear the reports from our representatives, so let's start with North.
The Plymouth North High School open house for Plymouth North High School will be held on Wednesday, October 16th, 2019, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Parents and guardians are invited to attend, follow their student schedule, and meet with their children's teachers. The Class of 2020 important yearbook news and information. Parents and members of the Class of 2020 should visit the Plymouth North website or view the Plymouth North High School Daily Bulletin located on our school's television daily for important up-to-date yearbook deadlines and information. The information on the Plymouth North High School website and on the Daily Bulletin contains important information that will prevent you from missing any yearbook deadlines. Club sports and activities. Plymouth North High School encourages all students to be involved with various club sports and activities it offers. Find something that interests you and become a part of the after-school community or attend one of our many scheduled sporting events and support our athletic teams. Beginning this week, Plymouth North High School will be hosting college visits during all 4 lunches. These visits are for students to speak with a representative from the college or university in order to learn more about what each has to offer. A full listing of the visiting colleges, universities, and armed services can be found on the Plymouth North website and on the Plymouth North High School Daily Bulletin located on our school's television daily. Plymouth North High School and South High Schools invite all college-bound students, parents, and guardians to attend the college fair, where over 150 colleges, universities, and armed services will be available to speak with. This college fair will be held on Tuesday, October 15, 2019, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Plymouth North High School gymnasium. The Plymouth North High School varsity homecoming game will be held on Saturday, October 19th at 7 p.m. against Hingham. Homecoming dance is on October 18th from 6:30 to 10 p.m. Tickets will go on sale October 9th through October 16th before or after school in room 331 or 247. The cost of the ticket is $15 each or $10 plus 2 canned goods. Check or money order only. Made out to PNHS, Students Activities Fund, abbreviated SAF. Eagle of the Day is a way to recognize and celebrate students, staff, and parents for their accomplishments. Each day, nominations are sent to Principal Parslin and announced during communication block. Life Touch will be taking student photos on Wednesday, October 2nd and Thursday, October 3rd. Student Photo Makeup Day is November 8th. Breakfast is an important way to start the day and is available daily to all students from 7 a.m. to 7:20 a.m. Breakfast can be purchased in the CAF or the gym lobby concession stand. Students who receive free lunch would also receive free breakfast. Reduced lunch students will pay 30 cents, and the regular cost for breakfast is $1.50. Starting Tuesday, September 10th, the late buses will be available on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Late buses will depart from Plymouth North High School at 4:05 p.m. on those days. Principal Pete Parslin offers a weekly parent page that provides I'm sorry, it's like a tongue twister. Provides information on what is happening at North. This is a great way to stay current on all things Plymouth North High School. Mr. Parslin posts this through his Twitter account. Please follow him on Twitter for notifications on his page. We encourage all families to follow us on Twitter and Facebook and to utilize our website for all happenings at North. Thank you.
Thank you. And now South.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to present the updates from Plymouth South High School. Our freshman Welcome to High School night was a big success as we had a huge turnout by the class of 2023. Students received their schedules, met their team teachers, and took tours of the building, finding their classrooms while grabbing an ice cream sundae along the way. The school year has started off nicely with a smooth opening. Students transitioned back from a summer very well and are off and running in many extracurricular activities. Over 450 student athletes are participating in a fall sport this year. Plymouth South High School welcomed 17 new teachers and para-educators into our family this year. The new staff are truly enjoying the students and the building. Thanks to their mentors, the new staff is adjusting very well. We are excited to welcome 5 new parent and teacher representatives to our school council, joined by school committee members, Mr. Morgan and Mrs. Haywood. Our first meeting will be 9/25 at 6:30 p.m. at Plymouth South High School as we embark on a new 2-year school improvement plan. Late buses start tomorrow and will run every Tuesday and Thursday through June. Late buses depart at 4:15 p.m. Summer reading assignments have been assessed this week and next in the advisory and directed study classes. Students and parents are reminded that our first day of school packets with all the forms and documents to be signed are due no later than this Friday. The add and drop period for classes ends this Wednesday on September 11th. Class assemblies took place last week for grades 10, 11, and 12. The freshmen will meet September 17th for their annual meeting and club fair in an effort to get more students involved in after-school activities. This Thursday, our freshman academy students will attend an anti-bullying and harassment seminar that is sponsored by Bridgewater State University. Picture Day, September 27th. Life Touch will be in the pack for pictures. Link to order packages was emailed home and is on our Facebook page. Plymouth South and Plymouth North will welcome foreign exchange students from Milan, Italy in October. 10 students will be auditing courses at the high school and spending approximately 2 weeks here in Plymouth. This is the beginning of an exchange opportunity that will see our students travel to Milan over February break. An application for the host families and students to travel to Milan will be emailed out to families this week. Our DAs meet over the summer to design our professional development for the staff over the school year. Our focus remains to align with the district goals. In addition, PYDC is working with specifically to bring in speakers and community events centered around drug use and social emotional wellness. Some important dates are coming up. PSAT School Day for our sophomores and juniors will take place in September. During that test time, our freshmen will be heading off campus, selecting to visit one of 6 colleges for tours of the campus as we expose them to post-secondary education. Freshmen will take the PSATs at a later date this fall. Our annual open house will take place on October 3rd, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Parents will have an opportunity to follow their student schedule and meet their teachers. Our booster club will be on hand with Panther gear to sell, and PYDC will have a table with information on resources available to families for the well-being of their children. Homecoming festivities are October 4th, with the dance on October 5th. Tickets for the dance will go on sale at the end of September. Technical Studies will have its annual Fall Advisory Committee program meetings on October 10th. Advisory members will meet at 6 p.m., followed by a guest speaker and dinner at 7 p.m. Hope to see you there. Finally, from a student's perspective, I would like to add that our Spain exchange trip is coming this April, and our exchange students are coming September 21st. All students hosting, including myself, are very excited to see them arrive.
A lot of information in both reports. Let me just highlight 2 important points. I think the October 3rd Plymouth South High School open house for parents to go and follow a schedule, very important to repeat. And the college fair of October 15th at North on Tuesday. I think you said there's over 150 colleges may be at that fair. I think parents need to take advantage of that. It's a great place to save them time and money because it's all going to be there. So those are 2 really good points. Any other comments or questions regarding the student reports? Thank you very much. Ms. Hunt reminded me that I had jumped over community. Is there anybody attending tonight's meeting who would like to address the committee? And I didn't call on you before. Okay, seeing no hands, I can now move along to a job description on Facilities Director. Ms. Fry.
As you folks remember, we've been doing job descriptions with the EAPC for the past 2 years. We've accomplished that. Tom is very sad that that's over. But we're now moving on to tomorrow. We're working with our union president from Cobra and beginning that process to update those which are very outdated. But we wanted to update our director's job description because it has changed a lot over the years, especially with many of the different insurance reports that Mr. Montrond completes and things of that nature. So, and he has an extensive experience in facilities management himself, which has been very beneficial, obviously. So this is really an update. It needed to be updated from a while ago. And I didn't know if you had any specific questions, but he does a tremendous job, and I think the weather-related concerns have only grown in the years I've known Mr. Montrond, so.
Ms. Badger.
On bullet number 3, it says experience with blueprint reading, use of power tools, energy management, construction management, or technologies and facilities management computer systems, including school board. Should it be and? Because then it goes on and says Microsoft Word and Excel. I mean, that is really important.
Yeah, that's a good, yep.
That's all that I
Yes.
saw.
And School Dude is our maintenance
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
We like the name, but computer and
Kind of
maintenance.
important.
Yes.
Anything else on that? That is an action item, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
Ms. Burgess moves it, seconded by Ms. Badger. Any questions? Okay, we can take that vote electronically. Everybody voted in favor. Thank you, Ms. Fry. Old business, committee members, anything to bring up from our old business list? I do believe, though, that now that we have our health curriculum up and running, we can take that item off the old business list. Other than that, anything else on the old business? Ms. Badger?
I guess it's something we can take off and just put back on later when we get next year's middle school and high school and all the guidelines. There's my words, the educational guidelines.
I'm not following you. Guidelines on?
The Yeah, the Department of Elementary, and Secondary Education is working on putting out guidelines like we talked about.
Okay.
And so they'll be ready for next year, hopefully. What?
The new curriculum framework.
Yeah, the new curriculum, there's my word, curriculum framework. So we just want to make sure that we're paying attention to it, I guess.
Well, they're going to leave it on then, right?
Yeah, I would hope.
Okay. New business. Committee members with new business. Okay. Moving along. Superintendent's report, Dr. Maestas.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our new space. We had a great deal of support in putting this together from our staff internally to the building, and our skilled craftsmen have just, in the last couple of weeks, just hustled to get things ready for tonight. You know, we thought, you know, all summer long, it'll get ready, and then last minute, just like open house, right? It's, we got it finally ready, so we're really excited to be here. It's nice to be able to work out of the same building for pretty much everything we do these days. We are off to a good start. We've had some ups and downs with transportation because, not because of our buses that can't get from point A to point B, it's really because the roads between point A and point B are a little bit under construction. So I just want to give everyone an update. Clark and Long Pond Road, they're going to pave that on Wednesday. So there'll be a paving of that'll take place on Wednesday. They'll put a binder down, which will allow traffic to run a little bit more normal, on the new normal that will take place on that road. They are telling us that by November that whole intersection will be completely done and ready for normal operation, a new normal operation. So that is something that we've struggled with. We did have elementary buses beginning of last week that were half an hour late, which, you know, that compounded from the high school getting through that intersection, the middle school getting through that intersection. So Indian Brook and South Elementary did experience some delays. By Wednesday, the delay was down to 10 minutes, which was, you know, we were able to work with the police department to get a detail on that intersection to push buses through, which would help us to meet our timelines for getting kids home. So that was successful in actually operating through that last week. We noticed that things are moving a little bit better today, but I tell you, Wednesday is going to be, you know, we'll see how things go with paving, but right now they're telling us that they should be able to manage that pretty well. Oberry Street is another story. Oberry Street is going to continue, you know, throughout October into November. They'll stop construction in November, and they'll pick up in the spring. So they're going to actually try to get as much as they can done on Oberry Street, so, you know, traffic can flow as normal. But the major work will pick back up in the spring. And keep in mind, this was a total of a 2-year project. So we'll see how things develop. Poles were being moved and installed. I think everyone driving down Oberry can actually notice that, you know, getting utility poles to be moved are one of the things that have caused delays across the town of Plymouth and across most communities. It just, it's a backlog of that. So that's something that we're working on and trying to get as much information to parents as we can. Principal Parslin and I, Mr. Montron, Mr. Costin, bus company, facilities, DPW, all have been having meetings on a regular basis to kind of keep us up to date on what's happening. So Principal Parslin has sent information out to parents to kind of give them a heads up. If we do have information that comes up that may cause some sort of a delay, we will try to get out to parents as soon as possible. But that has been somewhat of a challenge for us. The opening of the school year was, you know, I think our teachers were excited to get into the classrooms, and we've had a really good start. Dr. Campbell, Ms. Fry, myself, Mr. Costin, Ms. Rogers all have circulated through the buildings and visited classrooms for the first week and a half, and kids are just really excited to be back. Some of them are. Parents are really excited for them to be back. And I'd just like to highlight, you know, some really incredible things that happened over the summer relative to donations, and I know Ms. Hunt's going to talk about one later on tonight, but we were able to, without making phone calls or soliciting donations, we were able to We received 400 backpacks from Harbor One, and they were filled with school supplies. And they also had a little note inside the backpack that the Harbor organization, their employees actually wrote handwritten notes to students with a well-wish for the year. One Stop Painting and Cabbie Shack donated a stage full of school supplies and classroom supplies, whether it be paper towels, wipes for the classrooms, and things of that nature. And I know there are others or other organizations that have done that as well. And I will tell you, the generosity of this community from the start of the school year all the way to senior graduation is something that I don't know too many communities that have this kind of support. And they do it with open arms, and I tell you, we're very proud that, you know, I sat with most of these donors, and the joy that they get as an organization to help our families is pretty incredible. So with that said, I don't know, Ms. Hunt, if you want to talk about the donation that was made last week, which is something that I think was in the news last year about the need around the country. But I think it's relevant for you, Dr. Sorensen.
Yeah, so as you know, actually, Ms. Badger and I are both on the board of directors for the Plymouth Fragment Society. So for anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's either, it's a little contentious. It's either the oldest charitable organization in the country or the second oldest charitable organization.
It's one of the oldest.
But it's been around since 1818. As a member of the board of directors, my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother were also on the board of directors. So it's been around for 200, we just celebrated our 200th anniversary. So what the Fragment Society does is very quietly and very privately take applications from Plymouth residents for certain needs that they might have. They don't do a lot of fundraising. They basically go off some investments, and every month they have a certain amount of money to spend, and they distribute the money as they think that it makes the best use for little things, basically things that people can't normally get aid for, even if it's just a deposit or a water heater, little things like that. So at the end of the year, we are usually, you know, the last couple of years, we've been lucky to get the recipient of what they have to offer. So this year, they've decided to donate to pay down the school lunch debt. So we have a check for $2,208.35, and it's to pay down some outstanding school lunch debts of students.
Wow, that's
So,
remarkable.
and I have the
Thank you.
check here. I don't know if you want it or. if
Yeah,
you-
so one of the things that I communicated to both Ms. Badger and Ms. Hunt about is this will go into a gift account, which will then help to reimburse bills that get accrued for students that can't afford to buy lunch. And this is something that every year we have an account that goes in the red because students just can't afford or don't have money to pay for lunch. So this is something that I think will definitely help our food service program because it's self-supporting.
Yeah.
So I you know, from my behalf and our school lunch program, Patrick Van Cotton, Mr. Costin, can you relay back to the Fragment Society that this is a donation that will definitely help some families and little ones in our school district? Yep.
Ms. Badger?
And I just think it's important to tell everybody that for $50, you can be a lifetime member of the Fragment Society. It's the best deal in town, and you really do make a difference in the lives of people. We've got people, like Ms. Hunt said, who just can't make their payments. They need an oven, they need something, and we're able to help them so they can get to that next month and be on their feet. So that's it.
Great, all three donations, Cabbie Shack, Harbor One, and Fragment Society, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Anything else on your report, Dr. Maestas?
No, just one last comment. I'd just like to thank our music department and our students for opening day. I think another great interpretation of that. So it was just a wonderful opening for everybody. So
Okay, and we thank you. It's a great opening day.
thank you.
You all enjoy it.
Thank you.
Correspondence, Mr. Morgan.
Unless there's some that have been added, I believe there's no correspondence.
Okay. And the next item is to go over parts of the superintendent's checklist. Dr. Maestas.
Yes, in the school committee agenda tonight, you have the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Superintendent's Checklist, and this is really put into the agenda for school committee purposes tonight so that you can have an idea of the different benchmarks that take place throughout the year for reporting, all the way from assessment to financial information that we have responsibility for. As you can see, it's quite lengthy. I did attend a meeting with the commissioner this summer, and he promised to take a look at this to pare it down, but I don't think that is in the cards for us. But
Extremely comprehensive.
yeah, so
Extremely comprehensive.
so it's good information for the school committee, because not only does it list the opportunity, it also lists exactly who at the Department of Education actually is in charge of that, and it's a good document to keep, and it will always be an electronic school board for reference.
Any questions from committee members about that checklist? All right. I would like to ask Mr. Morgan to give us a report on his trip to Shishikahama, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. Do you want me to do it from here?
Wherever you'd like to do it.
All right. I assume this is the
Yeah,
clicker?
let's get you going there real quick. And there you go, you're ready to go.
All right. Well, first of all, it was an exciting trip. Very honored to represent the Plymouth Public Schools in the town of Plymouth. And I traveled with a great bunch of chaperones, students, student ambassadors, that is. And it was something that I'll always remember. I just remember gathering, we can get started here. Am I doing this? There we go. Gathering at Plymouth North High School. Everyone's all excited, ready to go, bushy-tailed, wide-eyed, and this is before the plane ride. So this is us gathering at North before hopping on the bus, and I have to thank Dr. Messis for the air-conditioned bus, because it was...
Well, we have one, and we made sure that it was on the one
We
that you
do
had.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We did
Good.
appreciate that. So it was a very uneventful ride to the airport. Hurry up and wait, so to speak, but we felt we were excited to be there, and the students were good listeners. And they, whenever we had to rein them in, because they can get excited. They're children. They're children ambassadors, but they're children. They listened to us and responded. So this is the airport. So let me go back one. All right, I think go one. Here we go. So this is in the airport. I believe this is in Sendai. Actually it's in Tokyo, waiting to catch a flight to Sendai. So we had about an hour late over, and then on top of that, our flight was delayed an hour. So we'd been on the plane 14 hours at that point. So if we look a little rough around the edges, that's why. But you see a lot of smiles, so that was good. And we were very close to our destination. This is at the Casemira, and hopefully I'm pronouncing these terms correctly. Cosamora. Thank you, Cosamora.
Yeah.
So this is where we gathered to meet our host families, and they were all there, all excited. You could definitely see the excitement in their eyes, and looking forward to meeting their student ambassadors. There's me giving a little greeting with Tyler behind me doing the translating. I kept it short, but I wanted to thank them for hosting us, and that we're looking forward to our week. So following that, the next day we went to Town Hall. This is just a photo in Town Hall where we got a greeting by the mayor, and we discussed a little bit about the history of the sister city relationship. And there are several of our student ambassadors all dressed up and ready to go. And as those who have gone on this trip before, the walk into town hall is quite amazing because they line the hallways and applaud, and everyone comes out, and the kids felt like they're walking the red carpet. They really felt like celebrities. And I heard a couple of them say behind me, whispering to themselves, they felt like celebrities. So that was very exciting for them. They take it very seriously over there. Take it very seriously. This is they had a program at the Casa Mira where we had tea making. So we had a professional tea making person come in and give the students a little lesson on how to do the process, and they enjoyed it, and whether they liked the tea or not, they said this was great and said thank you, and that was the right thing to do. So it was very traditional. So they really enjoyed that program. And this is we had a professional Kenmala, I might be mispronouncing the name. It's a game with a wooden handle and a ball.
I bought them and I gave them out for Christmas when I got home here last.
Yes. So we had the person there who was on the Guinness Book of World Records for doing that, and he gave a presentation. That was like a couple hours long. He spent a lot of time there, and everyone got their own set, and they all practiced, and I say I was horrible at it. But several of the students did very well. And they really enjoyed it, and I think only one person got bopped in the head. So
It's Kendama, because they have a.
yes, Kendama, very good. Thank you, Ms. Burgess. So that and that was nice because we interacted with the Japanese students as well as our students, because a lot of activities was just our students. So this was kind of nice. I got to intermix and interact doing this. There's a central office selfie at the Casa Mira.
Hey, Becky.
This is Becky DeRocher and I. We were doing a little tour, and we did a little selfie there, and it's a nice view in the background. You can see the rice fields, and it was just, it looked gorgeous. It was 95 and humid, but.
I know that picture, and when the tsunami hit, that whole section behind you was all underwater. The whole area was underwater.
Yeah, I mean, this is an elevated point, so it actually did all right, but you're right. But yeah, that was a nice spot, good view. Now, our students were treated to a baseball game, the Professional Japanese Baseball League. So they all got to go. They all got a $5 gift card to use for snacks. They all got a baseball hat, and we had really good seats out in the center field. And then in the, I think it was the 7th inning, they acknowledged our students on the Jumbotron, a little thing, welcome Shishigama, welcomes the Plymouth students. And then the next inning, they happened to pan where we were sitting, and some of our students got on Jumbotron. So that was kind of exciting.
Sweet Caroline, 7th inning?
No Sweet Caroline. But they have their own songs that they do for each player. Okay. So, and there's a rival section, and there's the home section. And they go back and forth, and it's a different vibe to it. It was kind of cool. It was fun to attend that.
Mr. Aoki next year.
Yes. So we didn't have a whole heck of a lot of free time. They had me on a pretty tight schedule, but we did get a couple hours in the sightseeing, and we got to visit some Japanese temples that were, 800, 1,000 years old. It's just amazing. And it's funny because you were behind all these tourist buildings on the ocean, and you go back a little ways, and all this is there. And it's just amazing how they preserve that. And they were showing us how some of the trees were damaged in a tsunami, but fortunately these buildings survived. So that was very good. There's myself and the mayor of Shishigama. This was at the send-off dinner. It was quite an enjoyable and fun evening. A lot of goodbyes and a lot of celebrating.
Bob, real quick, was that a commemorative shirt that they made?
What's that?
Was that a commemorative shirt that they gave
Yes,
you?
it is. So our students went with a shirt, a red shirt, so we could keep track of them, and it commemorated the trip. And they in turn gave us this shirt for us to wear. So it was kind of nice because I was all prepared to wear a jacket and tie again, and I got to go casual. So,
There you go.
And most of our students were, a couple of students kind of one a kimono, but most of them wore the T-shirts. So each student got an opportunity to come up and give a couple minutes and say how they, their experiences through the week. So a couple of them got emotional, but I think almost just about everyone spoke. There's the chairman of the town council, and on the day that we went to City Hall, my son there, Connor, was nominated to be the chairman, so he sat in the chairman's seat. And then as soon as the chairman found out he was my son, all week he would say, "Where's the chairman? Where's the chairman?" So he requested this photograph, the chairman.
There you go, the
So,
chairman.
So that was very cool. This is after the educational forum that we had. It was a nice interaction. We had administrators, a superintendent, principals, and then we had, of course, Lisa Brown, Becky DeRocher, Annie Loretz. We were all there and participated in this, and we had a nice exchange about our culture and theirs, and a survey that we did on different aspects of what we find important in education. And they really had a lot of takeaways from that, so that was really well done. This is gathering, waiting for the bus to head back home. People are milling about, exchanging gifts, and making sure they still have their wallets and their phones. The chaperones and I always did a double check, and we always found one or two wallets and phones when we left an area.
We
So,
had to go back for a chaperone's laptop, so.
oh really? Oh.
We did.
So, but we did. So this was there when there was gathering. This is actually at Logan when we returned. So again, this is after a 14-hour flight back. Again, they're excited to be home, but they're tired. It was a long trip. This is, I gave a short talk at the Rotary Club in Shishigama. Actually, this was in a neighboring town. It was a joint club with Shishigama, and we were guests, honored guests there. It was myself and Becky DeRocher. So they asked me to say a few words. You can't tell there, it was about 100 degrees that day. Fortunately, it was air conditioning inside, but their air conditioning isn't as strong as maybe here. It took the edge off, and but it was warm. But I was honored to be asked to give a talk and had a nice meal. And that's it. And the only other thing I like to throw in that's nailing that picture there is on Wednesday, we had a formal dinner with myself, Mrs. DeRocher, the mayor, all the heads of the town. We had a nice dinner planned, and we're having our dinner and chatting, and then all of a sudden all our phones started buzzing. And then within 10 seconds later, the building's going back and forth. And we experienced an earthquake, which we found out later on was 5.1 on the Richter scale there. The epicenter was, I think, 6.3. So our translator, Tyler, mentioned that this was the strongest earthquake since the one that caused the tsunami. Wow. So there was initially a little concern. So while the mayor and the council chairman were reaching out to their folks, Becky and I reached out to the chaperones, who in turn reached out to the students. We got back reports that everyone was accounted for and it was okay. The mayor got back to us and said, there's no tsunami warning, we're safe, there's no reports of any additional damage, so we continue our evening. So I figured if the mayor said we can continue our evening, I think we were in good shape. We had all heads of the town there, so I figured we were pretty well covered. So that was an experience of itself, and as a matter of fact, I did mention that in my closing remarks, that how they brought us into their culture. We did not feel like tourists. We felt like part of their family, and really got to see parts of Japan that maybe tourists would not see. And I said, you even threw in an earthquake. I said that was well done. So it was a tremendous trip. I think it's a life-changing experience for our student ambassadors, and they are looking very much forward to coming here next year. I think they have several trips scheduled next year with the 400th anniversary. So we do have a really wonderful gift that they gave to us that's being shipped to Ms. Hunt's house. So that I assume that's going to town hall, but I think it would look good here at central office. So that's just me.
Town hall wasn't invited, it wasn't involved in this trip.
So yes, so that's a little different too, because of the board of selectmen didn't send someone, basically, it was thrust upon me to be the lead, so to speak, so, which I was prepared for, but I was pampered way too much, and but I was honored to share our experiences with them and vice versa, and I was glad that we actually, as a school department and as a town, were able to experience that, and I'd like to thank everyone for sending me, and hopefully I represented us well.
And I think you did. I think you did a marvelous job. When some of us went, we always had a member of the Board of Selectmen, so we could sort of coast a little bit and take second seat. There was no, you were first seat, so you had to speak at every event. I think you did a marvelous job, and we thank you. We really do thank you for representing us really, really well. Great report.
Thank you.
And this was the 29th?
29th.
Because next year's the
29th, so
30th.
next year's the 30th anniversary of
It
this
corresponds with
relationship.
our 400th anniversary, so I mean, it's a big year next year, and
Big year.
We're hoping to maybe bring the kids to a meeting at some point too, to have them come and say a few words,
that'd be great.
as well as maybe get the adults together in a meeting to kind of
Would be-
find
yeah,
out
we
how
can-
that
Mhm.
went as
That's,
well. Have a
that'd
meeting.
be a great thing. And that's the whole idea of having the whole ambassador mentality, that they would come and share and encourage other students to apply when it's their turn, you know, and that's one thing we want to continue to do.
You know, we reinforce that to them, their role, and that, you know, whether it's to school committee or to the board of selectmen or both, but we do want you to share your experiences, and I've had a couple of them that I bumped into while the beginning of the school year that had mentioned if we're going to be doing that, so they're actually looking forward to doing that, so.
We
I
had
think
our
that would-
largest pool of applicants for this past trip than we've ever had, so I think the trip has never been more popular. I think the students really realize and understand their purpose in going. And as we've always wanted to do, is try to just elevate the profile of their presence and what they bring back, you know?
And I think that point is, we can't overemphasize that point. Just take that little tea service that Bob mentioned a few moments ago. In all the education that we could provide our children here, sitting in an official tea service, you learn something you couldn't possibly learn from a textbook.
No,
And that's only one example of hundreds and hundreds examples like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reports and proposals from committee members. No reports or proposals from committee
The only
members.
thing I had was that, Chip.
Okay, I will move along then. PYDC.
Yeah, we met on August 23rd, and, well, a lot of it was a recap of the 2018-19 year and the trainings that are coming up. It doesn't list when, but there's a whole bunch. And we had a resource table where we could pick up a lot of things, which some of them I have with me. And Gary spoke on prevention. And marijuana use in the adolescent brain. And 12 people have been trained on anxiety sensitivity, right? Okay. And sometimes I can't read my writing very well. I do at the time, but
Doing good, Mark.
you know, a few weeks later, it's a little different. And they spoke particularly on a conversation of what we do moving forward, what works and what doesn't. There's a video called Angst, which is about the good anxiety and the not so, that's 40 minutes long. I guess they'll be showing it. They're going to do para training and bus drivers and cafeteria on it. And on November 5th at 8:30 in the morning, they're going to have training on misconceptions about marijuana use at Plymouth South High School. And it's also at the middle school, am I right?
That will be with all levels, but it will be
All
at the high school during our professional
okay.
day, yes.
And then they were talking about the legislature and the home delivery of marijuana. That was, yeah, a different thought on it, but that's about it.
I'm looking over at our representatives and wondering how education on the dangers of marijuana will go over. I wonder how the students will receive that. Will they think they'll take it seriously?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
So we have to figure out a way to make it so it's taken seriously. It's not easy to educate. It really isn't. Ms. Badger?
I just wanted to, I think I had talked to Ms. Hunt about this, but I was thinking it might be interesting or a good thing for us to put together a group for the amazing race that PYDC is putting on, doing a school committee group. I selfishly, it finally works in my schedule. The last 2 years it hasn't. But I just thought it might be nice for the school committee to put, it's October 26th. I think it's also our fragment board meeting, but it all depends on the timing of it. But just
Where
putting
is
it out
that?
there.
The
The Amazing Race, it's October 26th. I thought it could
No,
be,
it's not on this information.
It's not
I have.
PYDC.
oh, it's not, but it's
Healthy
part of
Plymouth.
the, sorry, it's Healthy
It's Healthy
Plymouth, but it's
Plymouth.
part of the PYDC minutes, sorry, that's
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
it's Healthy
Plymouth.
Plymouth.
Who speaks
Oh, it's the
sometimes.
Healthy
Sorry.
Plymouth part. Well, that's still PYDC.
Yeah, it's just one of the
What was
sub,
the date again?
October 26th?
That's a Saturday?
Yes,
Do we know what time it starts?
no, and I actually reached out to someone to find out, and I didn't get any more information on it. They haven't gotten their ducks in a row on that piece yet, but just, I know,
Okay.
but just a thought.
And what about your thoughts on a video about angst?
What's it, we don't even know what it's about, right?
It's about, yeah, it's
Anxiety?
anxiety.
Oh.
It's an anxiety video, good and bad.
I
About-
think it's a good idea.
You think that'll go over? all
Learn
right?
more
Yeah.
about
That'll go over better than marijuana. I guess. I won't go there. Ms.
I mean,
Ms.
this
Hunt.
is a little, but you guys can, this is not really PYDC related, but I know that I binge watched this weekend the rest of 13 Reasons Why, because the third season just came out. Did you guys watch that? No?
Good choice.
But I think that, especially with a lot of what we talked about at our previous meeting and all the bullying and things like that are going on, and I know that when the first season came out, we had a lot of conversations at this table about it, so maybe I think it's something to consider, because it is a hot thing, kids talking about it, because the new season just came out. I know my daughter, who's a freshman in college, watched it, so I don't know.
Repeat, what show?
That's the 13th
13
Reason Why.
Reasons Why.
Okay, although,
I came out a couple of years ago.
yeah,
Well,
I saw those.
the newest season just got released, so I don't know, but it's a lot about bullying, so when you were talking about that video, I don't know if that's,
The
I'm
video
not-
is a documentary regarding anxiety in teens.
yeah,
And it's really just profiles teenagers and them talking about anxiety in their
Yeah.
life and how they deal with it or don't deal with it. So it's more of an awareness
yeah, I know it's a
documentary.
little different, but I think
Yeah.
it's just all kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know, I've just heard a lot of buzz about it, not maybe if you guys have.
Some really good reviews on it.
Yeah.
and
Would the resiliency training, would the resiliency mix in with that?
Not necessarily. So when Ms. Burgess was talking about 12 people getting trained around anxiety and sensitivity, it was the 4 traits for prevention. So we actually had 12 additional staff members from Plymouth go to Beth Israel Deaconess Boston to get trained by Dr. Patricia Conrad, who actually developed a program. So as of this summer, we'll have about 22 trained people in Plymouth and can actually do this work with our adolescent students. So it was a great opportunity, but it just brought to the forefront through prevention that the number one trait of students in 7th grade, the trait for concern is anxiety. That's the number one for students.
And that clearly relates to the whole marijuana thing.
Yeah.
Because it's one is used to fog the brain. If you're too anxious, you need to fog your brain.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that report. And now, is there a building committee report?
Well, I'm just going to speak a little bit about what's been done. The parking garage on
Russell Street.
Russell Street, the top deck is open now. The bottom deck, well, they got to work on it. What they found out is that the wall to Burial Hill is crumbling some.
I saw that.
It happened after that
Social
storm.
media, yeah.
After the storm, it just washed out, yes. So they've got to work on that wall downstairs. So that's one issue. The other one is that I sit on the Maritime Construction Committee meetings, and they've got the pilings now all in. They were a little delayed because there were boulders under the seawall that they didn't know about, so they had to make some adjustments. And, but anyhow, the building, the beginning, the top floor of the building is starting to go up now. They've got flooring on one part of it, and they've got a sidewalk that runs down the side that they're putting in. So it's coming along on the Maritime facility. So you can go down and take a look if you want, spin around there.
And then we're meeting on the
Day.
12th.
Huh?
We're meeting on the 12th. We have a meeting.
Thursday night, this Thursday
Thursday
night,
night, yeah.
yeah. PYDC's meeting on the 13th in the morning. So, yeah.
I was going to ask Mr. Costin, but he's not here. Perhaps we can bring it back to him. Following this report, when I was on the building committee, there was one Plymouth South High School matter left open and is the canopies.
Yeah.
The solar canopies between the two schools was in the hands of Comcast? No, in the hands of NSTAR.
Yeah,
Inside, yeah.
I can address that a little bit. One of the things that we wanted to do when we put a proposal to town meeting is to try to look at how much energy we can develop by using our facilities and potentially canopies to be able to generate more solar. Like, as you all know, we're well over 100% of our electricity for the Plymouth Public Schools is generated through solar. So we've done a lot of work on that. One of the things that we've realized, we were in this game 8-9 years ago, and we've actually maximized all the incentives that we can possibly maximize for solar benefits. The benefits for solar canopies are not as healthy as they used to be. So one of the things that Mr. Costin has been measuring is, is it beneficial for us to actually do this? I will report tonight, though, through the building committee information, we have installed the battery backup system. So we do have a significant battery that actually stores energy at night from Plymouth South High School, solar panels on the roof, charges the batteries, releases that energy when we have peak demand times during the day or evening, and that is operational as we speak. So that's something we cut over about 2 weeks ago. But Mr. Costin can actually give more information on the canopy model when he returns.
Mr. Selly.
So there's no SRECs for the canopies?
There are, but they're limited in nature compared to what they were when we were initially looking at it. Yeah.
What's fascinating about that report is in West Plymouth, the NSTAR building, they just put all their canopies up
Whole lot is.
in their parking lot.
Yeah.
And who did?
The,
Eversource, right?
Eversource.
Eversource.
Yeah, they did. But the other thing you have to consider is we pay such a low price for electricity compared to, we pay 8 cents a kilowatt hour, which is very desirable, okay? So when we start to take a look at what it will cost us per kilowatt hour to add canopies, the kilowatt hour price includes the cost for installation and materials.
And maintenance and upkeep.
Maintenance. So when you take a look at what our capacity is, what our needs are, anything that we do is going to benefit the town of Plymouth. So that would be, if we add canopies to Plymouth South Middle School, Plymouth South High School, it'll actually help it'll help the town. At what kilowatt hour price is beneficial for us,
Is it the same concept with the panels where you lease to own?
Yes, yeah. You pay for it over 20 years, in a sense. But that's built into the kilowatt hour price.
Ms. Badger.
Is that going to change the price that we have to pay for the lights? I know a big piece of that
No.
when we discussed it was associated with the lights and everything, so it doesn't change any
No,
of that?
We actually were able to package the lights in with the solar
Yep.
on the roof of
On the
South
roof,
and the
okay.
battery
Oh, on the roof.
package.
Okay,
So-
and that's where we're
so
taking the stored
we will-
energy from?
We will pay for the lights and South High School with the kilowatt hour price that we have negotiated. It's a 10-year model.
Yeah,
It's a 20-year package, but in 10 years of that 20-year model, we'll pay for the lights.
yeah. And then
just by our
after we-
kilowatt hour price.
Okay.
So we'll own them in eight years. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the libraries corporation is also looking for, to put solar panels on the parking lot, so we're working on that with the Energy Committee, but, yeah.
It's a cost thing, you know, it's.
We'll see what, we're going to
cost
see what
benefit,
happens, you
yeah.
know, as it moves forward, yeah.
Did we conclude the building committee report?
Yes.
Personnel.
Yes, we have had busy summers. You all know we had 36 recent certificated appointments, 5 coach and advisor appointments, 10 classified appointments. We have 7 maternity leaves and have had 10 resignations. So,
All right, thank you. Any questions on the personnel report from committee members? Homeschool plan.
Yes, tonight we have the homeschool plans that have been reviewed by Dr. Halpin's office, and they have met the requirements set forth by the Plymouth School Committee, and I recommend approving the plans within the school committee agenda tonight.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of administration regarding Ms. Trisselli. Moves it, seconded by Ms. Badger. Any questions on the homeschool program? Okay, please vote. Everybody voted in favor, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maestas. Accounts payable, Ms. Hunt.
Okay. Whereas school committee members have been provided with a copy of the cost center transfer and transaction summary report and the warrant for review, I move that the Plymouth School Committee accept and approve the report and accounts payable warrant number S082219 dated August 22nd, 2019, in the amount of $1,283,672.49 as presented.
There's your motion, where's the second? Ms. Badger is the second. Any question on that motion for that warrant? Okay, let's please vote for that. Everybody voted in favor, thank you. And there's another warrant, Ms. Hunt?
Just waiting for it to turn over. All right. All right. Whereas school committee members have been provided with a copy of the cost center transfer and transaction summary and warrant for review, I move that the Plymouth School Committee accept and approve the report and accounts payable warrant number S091219 dated September 12th, 2019, in the amount of $533,124.64 as presented.
Is there a second to that, to that motion? Ms. Burgess is the second. Is there a question from anybody on that? All right, please vote on that one. Okay, thank you. Minutes of July the 8th. What's the pleasure of the committee? Ms. Hunt?
I actually there's just one spelling, 4.0. I think it should say resistance. It says reticence.
Okay.
In consolidating school. But I think it should be resistance in consolidating school. But other than that, yep, other than that, it's looked
You wanna
okay to
move it?
me. Yes, I move that the minutes of July 8th be accepted with that change.
Seconded by Ms. Madger. Any questions on those minutes, the 8th? Okay. We have 2 abstentions and everybody else voting in favor. And now we have the minutes of August the 5th. Floor is open. Ms. Punt. Ms. Hunt.
I move that the minutes of August 5th be accepted and approved as presented.
Seconded by Ms. Burgess. Questions on minutes of August the 5th? I don't see any hands, so we will vote on those minutes. We have one abstention, everybody else voting in favor. We have 2 pieces of obsolete equipment. Dr. Maestas.
Yes, tonight we have 2 pieces of equipment from Plymouth Community Intermediate School. It's a floor scrubber that is beyond repair, and that is something that we are going to discard. And actually, there's 2 different pieces of equipment. One is a Minuteman 330. It's actually one piece. It's a floor scrubber. The brand name's a Minuteman. But it's one piece of equipment, and I recommend approval of this item for disposal.
Okay, we've heard the recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of administration.
Okay, seconded by? Ms. Burgess? Okay, let's vote on that, disposing of that piece of equipment. Okay, everybody voted, and then there was that other piece of equipment. What was that? I saw.
That's the next one.
What?
There were 2 separate pieces. One was South Middle School, so there's a second item. So that's the next agenda item, which is 12.2.
A printer.
Yes, so that's item 12.2.
All right, so you've heard the recommendation on the printer
Yeah,
from
this
South.
is actually sensors.
Sensor. Yeah.
These are motion sensors, vernier motion sensors that are obsolete, and we recommend that those be phased out.
Okay. Ms. Bird.
I move that we, sorry, I move that we approve the disposal of this equipment.
Okay. Is there a second? Ms. Burgess is the second. Time to vote, please. All right. Everybody voted in favor. All right, that's the last item on our agenda this evening. Is there any other business to come before the school committee tonight? I don't see any hands, so we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.